The Dark Forest. As a kid, I was fearful of many things, but not as much as the dark forest behind my house. It starts off innocently enough, a few trees here and there, vines, shrubs, and other things of that nature. It also has a dirt path at the beginning. When I would go for a walk, I tended to avoid this path, not only because of the paw prints that were scattered about the dirt path, but because of what it looked like further in. I would never, and I mean never, venture into this area. When I started to get older, I started to become more and more curious about the path and what was in it. I would always tell my mother about my fear of this place, but she would always assure me that it was safe. I still would never go out there. One day, I got tired of my curiosity. I decided to go and check it out for myself. My mother's words had finally given me the strength and the courage to explore this place. I walked onto the path and headed into the forest. Once I got further in, I started to remember why I'd never go in there. It got darker and darker as the trees started to block out the sky. The small plants began to grow more often, and they became thicker the further I went in. Finally, things began to get a little bit more odd. I found scattered skeletons along the path. I also began to see the spots where the trees seemed to be pulled down by some physical force. The force was not by man though. No. This was by something bigger. As I began to walk further in, the skeletons began to get larger in size. I could also smell something faint. It seemed to be garbage. When I finally reached the end of this trail, I found something that seemed like a den. It was on the edge of the water. The trees around it were all torn down and pulled apart. And then I looked down. The ground was scattered with skeletons and large footprints. I had wondered why there was a severe lack of animals in there, and I'd finally received my answer. I ran out of there as fast as I could, and I didn't look back. Ever since that day, I've never gone back in there, not alone, and I never will again. The one thing that bothered me the most about this was the sound of leaves crunching and branches breaking behind me, as though I were being followed. To this day, I don't know what had been following me, and I never wish to go back and find out.